Morphology is the study of word formation. While we normally look at one specific name or selection of names here on the channel, today let's take a wider, more linguistical look and see how names, and words as a whole, are formed. Well, primarily in the English language anyway. Before we look into how names and words are formed, some were kind of not formed at all. Wait, what? These are core and borrowed words. Core words are words that just are. They're ancient words of the English language, and they tend to be things that have natural origins, like blood, time, and stone. Borrowed words are words we have simply stolen from other languages, like alcohol and fountain. Though it could be debated that core words are borrowed words, as I imagine most core words have roots in Latin and other ancient languages. Onomatopoeia is perhaps the easiest kind of word formation to get your head around. They're the kind of things you see in comic book panels when there's a loud sound. Onomatopoeia is the formation of words by naming the sound after the sound they make. These words tend to be nouns, specifically abstract nouns. An abstract noun is a name for something that is intangible, like love, hope, and tension. Proper real-life objects like cat, chair, and door, however, are called concrete nouns. Acronyms and alphabetisms is when we have phrases, take the first letter of each word in that phrase and use that as the name. The difference between these two is how we pronounce them. An acronym is pronounced like an actual word, so time and relative dimension in space becomes TARDIS. The Doctor never calls it his TARDIS. And the British Broadcast Corporation becomes the BBC. We never say the babaka, meaning it's an alphabetism. I use these examples because I'm a no good British Whovian. Eponyms are when we use the names of pre-existing people, real or fictional, to create new words. Great examples of this are Thursday, named after everyone's favourite god of thunder, and Hoover. A Hoover is a type of vacuum cleaner created by the Hoover Company, named after William Henry Hoover. Here in the UK, however, despite just being one brand of vacuum cleaner, Hoover has become synonymous with all vacuum cleaners and has even become a verb, hoovering. Speaking of hoovering, that leads us nicely onto our next way of forming words, derivation. Derivation is when we add a prefix and or suffix to an established word to create a new word. Happy is a great word to look at for this. We can add a prefix to it to create unhappy, or a suffix to it to create happiness. We can even keep both the prefix and suffix to create unhappiness. Derivation also has the ability to change the class of a word. Think of wash the verb as in I'm going to wash the dog, then add the er suffix to create the noun washer as in put the dishes in the washer. By simply adding a suffix, we've changed a verb into a noun. That's amazing. No? Is that just me being a linguistic nerd? Okay, moving on. Derivation can also be kind of done the other way around with back formation, taking away prefixes and suffixes from words that sort of had them initially. So addiction becomes addict, burgling becomes burgle, and so on. These tend to not change the word class like derivation, but I couldn't think of anywhere else to talk about these in the video. We can also change a word's class by doing literally nothing to it. Instead, we just use the word in a different way within language. This is called conversion. Text is a great example of this. Text as a noun means a piece of written language, yet text as a verb, as in I will text you the details tonight, is a verb meaning to send someone an electronic message. And look, the word text itself didn't get any letters added or taken away from it. Semantic shifts are kind of like conversions, the exact same word, but instead of changing word class, they change meaning altogether. Nouns such as pupil, meaning a student in a school and a bit of your eye, and field, meaning a large area of grass and an area of studies, are all words with semantic shifts. Finally, we can add and remove parts of words to create new words. This is with clipping, compounding, and blending. Clipping is simply removing parts of words, so refrigerator becomes fridge, veterinarian becomes vet, and telephone becomes phone. Compounding is when we take two complete or partially complete words and put them together to become words or fixed phrases, such as well known, welcome, and bus stop. Blending is what happens when you clip and compound words together, kind of like Frankenstein words. And yes, I know Frankenstein wasn't the monster, let's just move on with this analogy. So let's use the noun sitcom. To come to this word, you clip down situation and comedy to just sit and com, then compound them together to make sitcom. Now, say you have a word in your head that doesn't connect to any of these ways of formation. That word was most likely coined. Coining is the art of creating brand new words. In example, I've just coined the word gangagoo. What does it mean? Why don't you tell me down below?